If I Stay is a novel by Gale Forman. It centers around one day from the perspective of a trauma victim, Mia. Mia and her family go for a harmless drive to go visit her grandparents on a snowy day after school was canceled. Unfortunately, they got into a car accident, and unfortunately, her parents die at the scene. Mia and her brother are then rushed to different hospitals for care. Mia, when she experiences the crash, she leaves her real body. The whole novel is an out-of-body experience. It is a sad book. Throughout the novel, it tells you what time it is, and therefore those are how the chapters go. Mia's a normal girl. She plays the cello very well, actually. She has a boyfriend who's in a band. Her parents are, indie rockers, not young indie rockers, not normal parents. She has a little brother, Teddy, who's just adorable. The novel is basically one whole memory, basically. She's looking at herself being operated on, and she's, walking around, and walking around the hospital, and no one can see her. And as little things happen, I wouldn't call them little, but, from the story's point of view, she recalls the memory, and, the story pans out even more. For instance, she had to be taken to trauma in a different hospital. They had to put her on the helicopter and take her to a different hospital, and she recalled when her best friend Kim went on a helicopter ride or something. Little things like that. So this book is basically full of memories from Mia's life. As the memories progress, it gets constantly sadder because you really see what she's losing. You really see how she's coping or not coping. It's almost as she's just ignoring it all until the very end where she has to decide. And that is the main climax of the book of If I Stay. She has to really decide if she wants to move on with her parents and her little brother who died in the car crash, or return to her body and continue her healing process and continue life itself. The whole book is just, every memory brings her closer to her choice, but she doesn't even know it yet because she doesn't decide until the very last second of what she's going to do. Oh, this is the cover, by the way. I think it's a new cover. And If I Stay. Okay, this is totally not having anything, well, it doesn't really have much to do with the book. But on the cover, this is what annoys me about books. Yes, I am a huge Twilight fan. Yes, I will always like Twilight, like teen romances, It's a great world. It's a great thing. But things like this really piss me off. It's a book about a girl who is like a ghost and loses everyone in her family and, has to decide whether to live or to die. What the hell, man? It has absolutely nothing to do with Twilight. I think that people just put that on the cover to make little girls run up and buy them. Or not even little girls. Just in general, like, oh, maybe there's an Edward in here. Just little things like that. Because the Twilight Saga has blown so out of proportion. It's crazy. Sorry, I'm getting a little worked up. It's just, crazy. It has absolutely nothing to do with the Twilight Saga. Mia is a cello player. She was. She is. So Mia is a cello player. And music has a really big, I think at least, music has a really big part in this novel. I played the flute for years, actually, but I wanted to quit every second of it. I just don't like music. I couldn't really relate with that part of the book, and I felt kind of left out because music, her and her boyfriend are both very big musicians. Her parents are musicians, her parents' friends, her, everyone around her is a musician. And, music helps her make her decision. A lot of her memories have something to do with music. So obviously music is a really big part of this. But that was the only thing I kind of felt left out because I don't really understand the concept of what playing an instrument can do for you. That's the only part I felt left out of in this book is the music part. But, it was still, even if you're not a musician, you could still tell it was an important part to her, to everyone around her, like that. Did it make me cry? No. A lot of the reviews, and other people saying that have read this book. None of my friends personally have read this book, but a lot of the reviews say this will definitely make you cry. This got a tear out of me. Blah blah blah. At some bittersweet moments, my eyes did water, or some parts where like the family members talked to her in her coma. My eyes kind of like stung, but I don't cry. I probably sound like a horrible person. I don't cry for anything. I don't cry at movies. I don't cry at books. I don't cry. I don't even cry when I get hurt. Like, I'm just like, oh my God, you bitch, you hit me. If you read The Lovely Bones, and if you read My Sister's Keeper, and you cried reading those, you probably will definitely cry reading this. I read both. I didn't cry. I thought it sucked, but I didn't cry. It is sad. It's a sad book, but it has a good message, and it's hopeful. Oh, and they're making a movie out of this book. I didn't even realize until after I read a book, I Google it and I YouTube like, oh, what people think like the cast. I get all like nerdy into it. I Google it and I YouTube it and see who people think should be like the characters. Oddly, there are no YouTube Dreamcasts of this book yet. If I knew how to make one, I would probably make one. Anyways, they're making a movie about it, and Catherine Hart, or whatever the fuck her name is directing it. Fuck my life. Fuck my life. Why? Did no one learn their lesson when she screwed Twilight over? Granted, everyone deserves like a chance of redemption, but like, it was a really good book and I don't want her to fuck it up. But, now that I think about it, she does kind of have that dreary persona going on. Maybe she can work some magic. Summit is producing it. Maybe that's why they put Twilight on it. If you love those books I mentioned earlier, The Lovely Bones, My Sister's Keeper, The Time Traveler's Wife, you should pick up this book. It's the young adult version of those books, basically. But pick it up and see what you see. A little. And pick it up and see. And if you've already seen it, tell me what you think about it in the comments. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Are you happy that Catherine, whatever her name is going to screw it over? Are you not? Tell me what you think.